Admiral Jake Morrison stood at the large window of the Earth Defense Command Station. He watched another alien ship dock at the station. The ship was long and silver, with strange symbols painted on its sides. Jake knew what this meant. Another group of aliens had come to ask humans to solve their problems. Jake had been in charge of Earth's defense for 10 years. In those 10 years, he had seen the same thing happen over and over. Aliens would come to Earth asking for help. Humans would give that help freely. The aliens would take what they needed and leave. They never said thank you. They never offered anything in return. "Sir, the Zephyrian delegation is here," said Commander Lisa Bennett. She was Earth's top expert on alien life forms. Lisa had studied every known alien race in the galaxy. She knew their languages, their customs, and their ways of thinking. What she had learned made her angry. Jake turned away from the window. "What do they want this time?" Lisa looked at her datapad. "They want us to change 12 dead planets into living worlds. For free. They say it's our duty to help the galaxy." Jake shook his head. This was exactly what he expected. The Zephyrians had 700 worlds under their control. They had technology that was thousands of years old. They had more money than they could spend in 1,000,000 years. But they still came to Earth asking humans to work for nothing. "Our duty," Jake repeated. "Did they mention what their duty is to us?" "They said helping the galaxy should make us feel good," Lisa answered. "They said humans should be happy to serve others." Jake felt his anger rising. For 30 years, Earth had been part of the Galactic Council. For 30 years, humans had been the galaxy's workers, soldiers, and problem solvers. When wars started, humans were sent to stop them. When planets died, humans were sent to fix them. When technology broke down, humans were sent to repair it. What did Earth get in return? Nothing. The aliens treated humans like useful tools. They would pick up the tool when they needed it, use it, then put it back in the toolbox. They never thought about what the tool might want or need. Jake's communication device beeped. President Sam Rodriguez was calling an emergency meeting. Jake was not surprised. The president had been getting more and more frustrated with how the aliens treated Earth. The meeting room was full when Jake arrived. Representatives from every human colony in the galaxy were there. Some attended in person. Others appeared as holograms from distant worlds. All of them looked angry. President Rodriguez stood up to speak. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been president for 8 years. In those 8 years, he had watched alien after alien come to Earth with demands. "Ladies and gentlemen," the president began, "we are here because we have reached a breaking point. Yesterday, the Korathi Federation demanded that our military protect their trade ships. They offered us nothing in return. Today, the Zephyrians want us to terraform 12 worlds for free. Tomorrow, there will be another alien race asking for another favor." Governor Maria Santos from the New Texas colony spoke up. "Mr. President, my people are tired of this. We send our best engineers to alien worlds. We send our doctors to cure alien diseases. We send our teachers to educate alien children. What do we get back? They look down on us. They call us primitive. They treat us like servants." Other voices joined in. Captain Rick Turner commanded the defense fleet around Earth. "Sir, 3 days ago, Galaxian ships entered our space without permission. When I asked them to leave, they laughed at me. They said humans had no right to control any part of space. They said space belonged to the superior races." Dr. Peter Collins ran Earth's main research center. "The Crystalline Coalition asked us to share our medical technology with them. We did. Now they use that technology to heal their own people. But they charge us huge amounts of money when our people need treatment." The complaints went on for hours. Every human representative had a story about alien arrogance and disrespect. Jake listened to them all. Each story made him angrier. The president held up his hand for silence. "The situation is about to get worse. This morning I received a message from the Galactic Council. They are demanding that Earth surrender our quantum drive technology to them. They say it's too dangerous for one race to control." The room exploded in angry voices. The quantum drive was humanity's greatest invention. It allowed ships to travel between stars in days instead of years. Humans had built the entire galactic transportation system using quantum drives. Every alien race depended on human-built ships and human-maintained routes to travel and trade. They want our technology, the president continued, but they don't want to pay for it. They don't want to trade for it. They want us to give it to them because they demand it. Jake stood up. What did you tell them? President Rodriguez smiled, but it was not a happy smile. I told them we would consider their request. What I didn't tell them is what we're really considering. The president pressed a button on his desk. A large screen showed a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked every world where humans lived and worked. There were over 3,000 red dots. For 30 years we have served the galaxy, the president said. We have given our time, our knowledge, our technology, and our lives to help alien races. We have asked for nothing except respect. We have not received even that. Jake saw where this was going. He had been thinking the same thoughts for months. The aliens think we need them more than they need us, the president continued. They think we are too weak to survive without their protection. They think we are too stupid to build our own civilization. They are about to learn how wrong they are. The president looked around the room at every face, both real and holographic. I am proposing that Earth withdraw from all galactic affairs. I am proposing that we bring every human home from every alien world. I am proposing that we cut all ties with the Galactic Council and every alien race. The room was silent for a long moment. Then Governor Santos spoke. It's about time, other voices agreed. Captain Turner nodded. My ships are ready to escort our people home, Dr. Collins smiled. I've been preparing for this day for 2 years. All of our important research is already backed up and ready to move. Jake felt a weight lifting off his shoulders. For years he had watched humans work for aliens who didn't appreciate them. For years he had seen human soldiers die protecting alien worlds that didn't care about them. For years he had listened to aliens insult and dismiss human achievements. The aliens will try to stop us, Jake said. They'll threaten us. They'll try to force us to stay, President Rodriguez nodded. Let them try. We built the transportation system they depend on. We maintain the communication networks that connect their worlds. We provide the medical knowledge that keeps them healthy and the agricultural techniques that feed them. Without us, their civilization will collapse within months. The president pressed another button. Orders went out to every human ship, station, and colony in the galaxy. Operation Homecoming had begun. Earth was calling its children home. As the meeting ended, Jake returned to his window. Another alien ship was approaching the station. This one carried the flag of the Andromedans. They probably wanted humans to mediate another dispute with their neighbors. Jake smiled. They were too late. Earth was done being the galaxy's servant. The age of human submission was over. The aliens were about to learn what they had lost by taking humanity for granted. Commander Susan Blake stood in the control room of Luna Station. Around her, dozens of screens showed the biggest movement of people in galactic history. Ships were lifting off from planets across the galaxy. Each ship carried humans coming home. To Earth. Susan had been put in charge of Operation Homecoming. It was her job to bring 12 million humans back to the Sol system. These humans lived on over 3,000 different worlds. Some were scientists working in alien laboratories. Others were doctors treating alien patients. Many were engineers, keeping alien technology running. Status report, Susan called out. Lieutenant Danny Cooper looked up from his station. Ma'am, we have ships launching from the Kepler system. 200 engineers are coming home from the mining operations there. The Trilaxians are asking why they're leaving. What did our people tell them? Susan asked. They said their contracts were finished, Danny replied. The Trilaxians offered to double their pay to make them stay. Our people said no. Susan nodded. That was the plan. Don't explain, don't argue, just leave. Let the aliens figure out what was happening on their own. Captain Nicole Wright walked into the control room. She was in charge of shutting down the galactic communication system. This system allowed aliens to talk to each other across the galaxy instantly. Humans had built it, and humans kept it working. "Nicole, how's the communication shutdown going?" Susan asked. "Better than expected," Nicole answered. "We've pulled our technicians from 80% of the relay stations. The system is already showing problems. Messages are taking hours to travel between star systems instead of seconds." Susan looked at the main screen. It showed a map of the galaxy with thousands of tiny lights. Each light was a human ship heading home. Some ships were small, carrying just a few people. Others were huge cargo vessels loaded with equipment and supplies. The communication device on Susan's desk beeped. She pressed a button and President Rodriguez appeared on the screen. "Susan, how are we doing?" he asked. "Ahead of schedule, sir," Susan replied. "The aliens still think this is temporary. They keep offering our people more money to stay. Some are starting to get worried, but most still don't understand what's happening." The president smiled. "Good. Dr. Collins, are you there?" Dr. Peter Collins stepped into view of the camera. He was leading the teams that were removing human technology from alien worlds. This was the most important part of the plan. Humans had shared their technology with aliens for 30 years. Now they had to make sure that technology disappeared. "Peter." "Report," the president said. "Sir, my teams are working around the clock," Peter answered. "We're wiping every database that contains human knowledge. We're destroying every piece of equipment we can't take with us. The quantum drives are our first priority. Without them, the aliens won't be able to travel between stars easily." Susan watched the numbers on her screen change. Every few minutes, another group of humans arrived safely in the Sol system. But for every group that came home, 10 more were still out there waiting for pickup. "Ma'am," called out Sergeant Tony Martinez from his station, "I'm getting reports of alien ships trying to stop our evacuation. 3 Zephyrian cruisers are blocking the spaceport on New Harmony. They won't let our transport ships land." Susan felt her anger rise. Even now, the aliens were trying to force humans to stay and work for them. "What's the status of Captain Turner's fleet?" she asked. "Standing by in the outer system," Tony replied. Susan opened a communication channel. "Captain Turner, this is Luna Station. You have authorization to clear the way for our transports." On her screen, she watched 3 human warships move toward New Harmony. The Zephyrian cruisers were bigger, but human weapons were more advanced. The human ships didn't attack. They didn't need to. They simply moved into position and powered up their weapons. The Zephyrian ships moved aside immediately. "Transport ships are landing now," Tony reported. This scene was happening all across the galaxy. Alien forces would try to stop human evacuation. Human military ships would arrive. The aliens would back down. They wanted to keep their human workers, but they weren't ready to fight a war over it. Dr. Kevin Hall entered the control room carrying a data pad. He was Earth's expert on galactic economics. His job was to track how the human withdrawal was affecting alien civilization. "Susan, you need to see this," Kevin said. He handed her the data pad. The screen showed economic reports from across the galaxy. Production was dropping on dozens of worlds. The Korathi shipyards had stopped building new vessels because they didn't have human engineers to run the assembly lines. The Andromedans were reporting food shortages because their farms depended on human agricultural experts. "It's only been 3 days," Kevin said. 3 days and alien civilization is already showing cracks. Susan wasn't surprised. Humans didn't just work for the aliens. Humans were the glue that held galactic civilization together. They were the ones who could talk to any alien race. They were the ones who understood how different technologies worked. Together, they were the ones who solved problems that no one else could solve. "Ma'am, incoming message from the Galactic Council," Danny announced. Susan sighed. She had been expecting this. "Put it through." The screen showed Counselor Thex of the Zephyrian Empire. He was a tall, thin alien with blue skin and 4 arms. His face showed the arrogance that Susan had learned to expect from Galactic Council members. "Commander Blake, Vex said. I demand to know why human workers are abandoning their posts across the galaxy. This is disrupting commerce and causing unnecessary panic. Susan kept her voice calm. Counselor Vex, Earth citizens are free to travel wherever they choose. If they wish to return home, that is their right. This is clearly a coordinated action. Vex replied, Earth is trying to pressure the Council by threatening to withdraw human services. This childish behavior must stop immediately. I'm sorry you feel that way, Susan said. Is there anything else? Vex's blue skin turned darker with anger. Human workers will return to their jobs within 7 days, or the Council will consider this an act of aggression against the galactic community. Susan cut the communication without responding. Around the control room, her staff looked worried. They think we're bluffing, Nicole said. Let them think that, Susan replied. In a few more days, they'll understand this isn't a bluff. The work continued through the night. More ships arrived every hour. The space around Earth filled with vessels of every size and shape. Passenger ships carried families. Cargo ships carried equipment and supplies. Military ships provided protection. Dr. Angela Foster arrived from the Mars Research Station. She had been working on a special project for months. Now she was ready to put it into action. Susan, I need to speak with you privately, Angela said. They walked to Susan's office. Angela closed the door behind them. What is it? Susan asked. My team has finished installing the new defense system around the Sol system, Angela said. We're ready to activate the barrier. Susan felt excitement and fear at the same time. The barrier would make Earth completely safe from alien attack, but once it was activated, there would be no going back. Earth would be cut off from the galaxy completely. How many of our people are still out there? Susan asked. Angela checked her datapad. About 2 million. They should all be home within the next 4 days. Susan nodded. Then we wait. Once everyone is safely home, we activate the barrier and close the door on the galaxy. As she spoke, another group of transport ships appeared on the main screen. More humans coming home. More aliens discovering that their most valuable workers were gone forever. The galaxy had taken human help for granted for 30 years. Soon they would learn what life was like without it. Soon they would understand the true cost of treating humans like servants instead of partners. 6 months had passed since the last human ship crossed into Sol system space. Dr. Kevin Hall sat in his office on Earth, reading reports from across the galaxy. What he saw made him shake his head in amazement. The aliens had learned nothing from 30 years of human help. Now they were paying the price for their arrogance. Kevin's door opened and Commander Tony Martinez walked in. Tony ran Earth's intelligence network. His job was to watch what happened in the galaxy after humans left. The news he brought was always bad for the aliens. Kevin, you need to see the latest reports, Tony said. He handed over a datapad filled with information from across the galaxy. Kevin read the first report. It was from Kepler Prime, a major industrial world. The planet's factories had stopped working 3 months ago. The aliens who owned the factories couldn't fix the human-built machines. Production had dropped to zero. Millions of aliens were out of work. It gets worse, Tony said. Look at the medical reports. Kevin scrolled down to the health section. On 17 different worlds, diseases that had been cured for decades were coming back. Without human doctors and human medicine, aliens were dying from illnesses that should have been easy to treat. The Centaurian flu had killed over 1 million aliens in the past month alone. And the food situation? Kevin asked. Terrible, Tony replied. 23 worlds are reporting crop failures. The aliens never learned how to farm without human agricultural techniques. Some planets are facing complete starvation. Kevin put down the datapad and walked to his window. Outside, he could see the beautiful Earth that humans had returned to. Gardens bloomed everywhere. The air was clean. The oceans were blue and healthy. While the galaxy fell apart, Earth had become paradise. Meanwhile, in the Andromeda sector, Ambassador Zek of the Hegemony stood on the bridge of his flagship. Around him, a fleet of 300 alien warships prepared for the journey to Sol system. Zek was angry and desperate. His people were starving, his technology was failing. His empire was collapsing. "Admiral, are all ships ready?" Zek asked. "Yes, sir," replied Admiral Vorthak. 300 of our best warships. The humans will have no choice but to surrender when they see our power." Zek nodded. The plan was simple. Surround Earth with overwhelming force. Demand that humans return to their jobs across the galaxy. If they refused, destroy their planet. It was the only way to save alien civilization. The fleet jumped to faster-than-light travel. They would reach Sol System in 2 days, back on Earth. Sensors detected the approaching alien fleet while it was still light years away. Admiral Jake Morrison received the alert in his office at Earth Defense Command. He wasn't surprised. He had been expecting something like this for months. "Jake," called President Rodriguez immediately. "Sir, we have a large alien fleet heading our way. 300 ships, all heavily armed. They'll be here in 48 hours? Any idea what they want?" the president asked. "The same thing they always want," Jake replied. "They want us to fix their problems. This time they're bringing guns. To make sure we listen." President Rodriguez was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. "Jake, are our defenses ready?" "More than ready, sir," Jake answered. "Dr. Foster's barrier system is online. Our new defense platforms are in position. If they want to fight, we'll give them one they'll never forget." "Good," the president said. "Let's show them what happens when you threaten Earth." 2 days later, Ambassador Zek's fleet arrived at the edge of Sol System. What they saw confused them. There was no barrier around Earth, no defense fleet waiting to fight them. The solar system looked completely normal. "Where are their defenses?" Admiral Vorthak asked. "Maybe they're hiding," Zek suggested. "It doesn't matter. We have more ships than they could possibly handle." The alien fleet moved toward Earth. As they got closer, they could see the planet clearly. It was more beautiful than any world in. The galaxy, green continents, blue oceans, white clouds. It looked like the perfect world that every alien race dreamed of finding. "Send the message," Zek ordered. A communication beam was sent toward Earth. Within minutes, President Rodriguez appeared on the screen. He sat behind his desk in the White House, looking calm and unworried. "Ambassador Zek," the president said. "What brings you to our solar system?" Zek leaned forward. "President Rodriguez, I speak for the Galactic Council and 47 member races. We demand that Earth immediately return to its duties as a member of the galactic community. Your people must resume their work on our worlds. Your technology must be shared with all races. Your refusal to help us is causing the deaths of billions across the galaxy." The president listened calmly. When Zek finished speaking, Rodriguez smiled. "Ambassador, Earth resigned from the Galactic Council 6 months ago. We have no duties to the galactic community. Our people are free citizens who choose where they work. Our technology belongs to us alone." Zek's face turned red with anger. "You cannot simply abandon your responsibilities. The galaxy needs human services to function. If you refuse to cooperate, we will take what we need by force." "Is that a threat?" the president asked. "It is a promise," Zek replied. "We have 300 warships surrounding your world. Surrender now, or we will destroy your planet and take your survivors as workers." President Rodriguez leaned back in his chair. "Ambassador, I have a question for you. In 30 years of human membership in the Galactic Council, did we ever threaten you?" "No," Zek admitted. "Did we ever demand payment for our help?" "No." "Did we ever refuse to help when you asked?" "No, but that's not the point. You were supposed to help us. It was your role in the galaxy." The president nodded. "I see. We were supposed to serve you." "We were not supposed to be equals. We were tools for you to use." "Exactly," Zek said without thinking. The president's smile disappeared. "Ambassador, you just made a very big mistake. You admitted that you never saw humans as equals. You saw us as servants. Well, those days are over." The president pressed a button on his desk. Suddenly, the space around the alien fleet began to shimmer. A barrier of pure energy surrounded all 300 ships. They were trapped. "What is this?" Zek shouted. "This is Earth's new defense system," the president replied. "Your ships are now held in a containment field. Your weapons won't work. Your engines won't work. You're completely helpless." Admiral Vorthik frantically pressed buttons on his control panel. Nothing happened. The ship's systems were completely dead. "This is impossible," Zek said. "No race in the galaxy has technology this advanced." "You're right," the president agreed. "No race in the galaxy has this technology. Earth does. We built it ourselves after we left your council. While you've been fighting each other and demanding human help, we've been advancing our science beyond anything you can imagine." On planets across the galaxy, aliens watched their communication screens go dark. The galactic network that had connected thousands of worlds for decades had finally collapsed completely. Without human technicians to maintain it, the system had broken down one relay station at a time. On the Trilaxian mining world, the last automated factory shut down. The machines that had run perfectly for 30 years with human maintenance began breaking one by one. Within a week, the entire industrial complex would be dead scrap metal dot in the Korathi medical centers. Doctors stood helplessly as patients died from diseases they couldn't treat. The human-developed medicines were gone. The human-trained doctors had left. Alien medicine had forgotten how to cure illnesses without human help. The Crystalline Coalition tried to contact other races for help with their failing technology. But the communication system no longer worked. Each world was alone with its problems. No one could call for help. No one could offer solutions. Back in Sol System, President Rodriguez continued speaking to Ambassador Zek. "Here are Earth's terms," he said. "Your fleet will be released at the edge of our solar system. You will return to your worlds. You will never threaten Earth again. If any alien race wants to trade with us in the future, they can send a single ship with a respectful request. We will consider each request individually." "And if we refuse?" Zek asked. The president's expression became cold. "Then your ships will drift here forever as a warning to others. The choice is yours." Zek looked at his dead control panels. He looked at his trapped fleet. He thought about his dying empire and his starving people. "We accept your terms," he whispered. The barrier around the alien ships disappeared. The fleet's engines came back online. Slowly, the 300 ships turned and headed away from Earth. They left. They carried a message that would spread to every corner of the galaxy. Earth was no longer the servant of alien races. Earth had become something far more powerful and far more dangerous. The humans had walked away, and the galaxy would never be the same. Dr. Rachel Murphy walked through the gardens of New Manhattan, one of Earth's newest cities. The city floated in the sky above the Atlantic Ocean, held up by technology that made alien science look like children's toys. Below her, she could see the blue waters of Earth's restored oceans. Above her, the clear dome that protected the city showed the stars beyond. Rachel was in charge of the Global Earth Project. Her job was to turn Earth into the most beautiful world in the galaxy. With 12 million humans returning from alien worlds, Earth needed new cities and new farmland. But Rachel had bigger plans than just housing people. She wanted to make Earth perfect. "Dr. Murphy," called out her assistant, Lieutenant Ben Parker, "the Mars report is ready." Rachel took the datapad and read through the information. Mars was being changed into a second Earth. The red planet now had blue skies and green plants. Rivers flowed across land that had been desert for millions of years. The work was happening faster than anyone had thought possible. "How are the new fusion reactors working?" Rachel asked. "Better than expected," Ben replied. "We're producing 10 times more energy than we need. The extra power is being used to build more cities and more factories," Rachel smiled. When humans worked for aliens, they had to use old technology and work slowly. The aliens didn't want humans to advance too quickly. They wanted to keep humans dependent on them. Now that humans were free, their technology was advancing at incredible speed. Colonel Steve Adams stood on the observation deck of Luna Station. Around him, the largest construction project in human history was taking place. Massive orbital cities were being built around Earth, Each city was bigger than any alien space station. Each city housed millions of people in comfort and luxury. Steve was in charge of building these cities. He had engineers and workers who had learned their skills on 1,000 different worlds. They brought knowledge from every corner of the galaxy. Combined with human creativity, this knowledge was creating wonders. "Colonel," said Captain Helen Rogers, "the Jupiter shipyards are ready for inspection." Steve nodded. The shipyards around Jupiter were building a new fleet of human ships. These ships were nothing like the vessels humans had used while working for aliens. The new ships were faster, stronger, and more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever seen. The two officers took a shuttle to Jupiter's largest moon. The shipyard there covered the entire surface of the moon. Thousands of workers moved like ants, building ships that would carry humanity to the stars. But these would be human stars, not alien ones. "How many ships will we have by the end of the year?" Steve asked. 5,000 combat vessels, Helen answered, plus 10,000 transport and exploration ships. We'll have the largest fleet in galactic history. Steve looked at the ships taking shape in the construction bays. Each ship was a work of art as well as a weapon. Humans had always been good at making things beautiful as well as functional, without aliens telling them to hurry up and build things cheaply. Human engineers could create masterpieces on Mars. Dr. Angela Foster worked in her laboratory deep under the planet's surface. Angela was developing new technologies by combining everything humans had learned from their time in the galaxy. She had access to knowledge from hundreds of alien races. She also had something the aliens never had. She had human imagination. "Angela, the test results are back," said her partner, Dr. Gary Williams. "The new faster-than-light drive works perfectly. We can now travel between stars in hours instead of days." Angela looked at the data on her screen. The new drive was based on quantum physics that aliens had never understood. Humans had discovered the principles while working in alien laboratories, but the aliens had dismissed human ideas as impossible. Now those impossible ideas were becoming reality. "What about the defensive systems?" Angela asked. "Even better," Gary replied. "We can now create energy shields that are completely impenetrable. No weapon in the galaxy can break through them. We can also project these shields over entire planets." Angela felt excitement building in her chest. Earth was becoming not just independent, but invincible. No alien race would ever be able to threaten humanity again. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, General Chris Thompson watched his soldiers train for combat. These were not the same humans who had served as peacekeepers for alien races. These soldiers had seen how aliens really thought about humans. They had been insulted, ignored, and treated like servants. Now they were preparing to make sure that never happened again. "General," said Major Lucy Davis, "the new combat suits are ready for testing." Chris watched as soldiers in advanced armor moved through training exercises. The suits made them faster and stronger than any alien warrior. The weapons they carried could destroy alien ships with single shots. But more important than their equipment was their attitude. These soldiers knew they were fighting for human freedom. "How many troops do we have ready for deployment?" Chris asked. 2 million combat soldiers, Lucy replied, plus support staff and specialists. We also have the new robot soldiers if we need them. Chris nodded. The robot soldiers were one of humanity's greatest achievements. They were perfect warriors that never got tired, never got scared, and never disobeyed orders. Each robot was smarter than most alien generals. An army of robot soldiers could conquer entire star systems without any human casualties. Back on Earth, the returned colonists were creating a new human culture. Art galleries and floating cities displayed paintings and sculptures that combined styles from across the galaxy. Concert halls filled with music that blended human melodies with alien rhythms. Libraries contained books written in dozens of languages, telling stories of human adventures on distant worlds, but the most important change was in how humans saw themselves. For 30 years they had been told they were servants of superior alien races. They had been taught to be grateful for the chance to work for their betters. They had been made to feel small and unimportant. Now they knew the truth. Humans were not servants. They were not inferior. They were the most adaptable, creative, and determined race in the galaxy. They had held alien civilization together through their work and dedication. Without humans, that civilization was falling apart. Dr. Rachel Murphy stood in her office, looking at reports from across the Sol system. Every day brought news of new achievements. Earth's population was growing rapidly, as people had children in the safety and prosperity of their home world. Mars was becoming a garden world that rivaled Earth in beauty. The moon colonies were producing technology that seemed like magic. "Doctor," said Ben Parker, "we've received another message from the galaxy." Rachel sighed. Every day, alien races sent messages to Earth. Some begged for help. Others offered to trade valuable resources for human assistance. A few still made demands and threats. Earth ignored them all. "What do they want this time?" Rachel asked. "The Korathi Federation is offering to give us 3 star systems if we'll send doctors to help with their plague," Ben replied. "The Zephyrians are offering to make humans equal partners in their empire if we'll restart their factories. The Trilaxians say they'll share all their technology if we'll teach them agriculture." Rachel shook her head. "Too little, too late. For 30 years we offered them partnership and they treated us like tools. Now they want to make deals because they're desperate." "What should I tell them?" Ben asked. "Tell them what we tell all of them," Rachel replied. "Earth is not interested in their offers. If they want to communicate with us, they can send 1 ship with a formal request. We'll consider it along with all the others." As Ben left to send the message, Rachel returned to her work. Earth had important things to do. Cities to build, worlds to terraform, technologies to develop. Humanity had wasted 30 years serving ungrateful aliens. Now they had their own future to create. Outside her window, she could see transport ships arriving from the outer colonies. Each ship brought resources and knowledge back to Earth. The solar system was becoming the most advanced civilization in galactic history. And this was just the beginning. Soon, humanity would be ready to return to the galaxy. But when they did, it would be as conquerors, not servants. The aliens had taught humans an important lesson about power and respect. It was a lesson humanity would never forget. 2 years had passed since Earth cut all ties with the galaxy. Admiral Danny Cooper stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Destiny, watching the largest alien fleet in galactic history approach Sol system. The fleet contained ships from every surviving alien race. Desperate times had forced old enemies to work together. Danny had been promoted to fleet admiral. After the previous confrontation with Ambassador Zek, now he commanded a human fleet that was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. His ships were sleek and beautiful, but they contained power that could destroy entire star systems. "Admiral," called out Captain Helen Rogers from her station, "the alien fleet has stopped at the edge of our sensor range. They're sending a message. Put it through," Danny ordered. The main screen showed Fleet Admiral Zorks of the Combined Galactic Forces. Zorks was a massive alien with 6 arms and scales that glowed red with anger. Behind him, Danny could see the bridge of an enormous ship that looked like it had been built by joining pieces from dozens of different alien vessels. "Admiral Cooper," Zorks began, "I speak for the last free races of the galaxy. We have come to end this madness. You will immediately restore all human services to the galactic community. You will send your people back to their jobs on our worlds. You will share your advanced technology with all races." Danny listened calmly. He had expected this moment for months. The aliens had finally realized that their civilization was dying. Without human help, they had tried threats before. Now they were making one final attempt to force humanity back into service. "And if we refuse?" Danny asked. Zorks' scales glowed brighter. "Then we will destroy your solar system and take your survivors as slaves. We have assembled 5,000 ships from 43 different races. We have weapons that can crack planets. We have troops that can conquer entire worlds. You cannot stand against the combined might of the galaxy," Danny smiled. Admiral Zorks, you're about to learn something important. Earth is no longer the weak race you remember. Danny pressed a button on his chair. Around the alien fleet, space began to shimmer. Suddenly, human ships appeared from nowhere. They had been invisible, hidden by technology the aliens couldn't detect. The alien fleet of 5,000 ships found themselves surrounded by 10,000. Human vessels docked, but that wasn't the most shocking sight. The human ships were enormous. Each one was twice the size of the largest alien battleship. They glowed with energy that made the space around them bend and twist. The aliens had never seen anything like them. Impossible, Zorks whispered. Where did these ships come from? We built them, Danny replied. While you've been fighting each other and demanding our help, we've been advancing our technology beyond your comprehension. These ships use principles of science that your races haven't even discovered yet. On the planet below, President Rodriguez watched the confrontation from the Situation Room in the White House. Around him sat the leaders of humanity's greatest achievements. Dr. Angela Foster had developed the technology that made the fleet possible. General Chris Thompson commanded the military forces that protected Earth. Dr. Rachel Murphy had transformed Earth into a paradise that aliens could only dream of. Mr. President, said Dr. Foster, the aliens are trying to scan our ships. Their sensors can't penetrate our shields. They have no idea what we're capable of. President Rodriguez nodded. Good, let them wonder. Fear is a useful tool when dealing with bullies. Back in space, Admiral Zorks was growing more desperate. His sensors showed that the human ships carried weapons of incredible power. His own fleet looked like toys in comparison. But he had come too far to back down now. Admiral Cooper, Zorks said, you may have more ships than we expected, but numbers aren't everything. Our weapons have been refined through centuries of warfare. Our soldiers have conquered 1,000 worlds. Really? Danny replied. Would you like a demonstration of our capabilities? Without waiting for an answer, Danny selected one of the smaller alien ships. A beam of pure energy reached out from the human flagship. The alien ship simply disappeared, no explosion. No debris, it was there one moment and gone the next. The alien fleet erupted in panic. Ship captains began shouting questions and demands. Some ships tried to retreat. Others powered up their weapons for a desperate attack. That was our lowest power setting, Danny announced calmly. At full power, we can make entire star systems disappear. Now, would you like to discuss terms, or shall we continue the demonstration? Zork stared at the empty space where his ship had been. 500 alien crew members had vanished without a trace. The human weapon had been so advanced that his sensors couldn't even tell him how it worked. What do you want? Zorks asked quietly. We want you to listen, Danny replied. For 30 years, humanity served the galaxy faithfully. We solved your problems, fought your wars, and built your technology. In return, you treated us like servants. You ignored our contributions and demanded more work for no payment. You called us primitive and inferior. Danny paused to let his words sink in. Around the alien fleet, human ships moved into perfect formations. Every movement showed power and precision that the aliens couldn't match. Now the situation has changed, Danny continued. Earth is no longer interested in serving ungrateful masters. We will consider limited trade relationships with individual races that treat us with respect. We will share some of our knowledge with allies who prove themselves worthy. But we will never again be the galaxy's servants. Zorks looked at his own fleet. Many of his ships were breaking down from lack of proper maintenance. His crews were sick from diseases that only human medicine could cure. His people were starving because they had forgotten how to grow food without human help. What are your terms? Zorks asked. President Rodriguez's voice came through the communication system. These are Earth's conditions for limited contact with galactic races. First, any race that wants to trade with Earth must approach us with respect and humility. Send one ship with a formal request. Don't demand. Don't threaten. Ask politely, the president continued. Second, Earth will choose which races we want to deal with. We will judge you based on how you treated humans during our 30 years of service. Those who showed respect may be allowed to trade. Those who showed arrogance will be ignored. Third, the president said, Earth sets all terms for any relationship. We decide what to trade, when to trade, and how much to charge. If you don't like our terms, you're free to look elsewhere for help. Fourth, any attempt to threaten Earth or force us to provide aid will result in permanent banishment from Sol System. We have defensive capabilities that extend far beyond our solar system. Cross us and you'll find your homeworlds cut off from all contact with the rest of the galaxy. Zorks listened to each condition with growing despair. These terms made Earth the dominant power in the galaxy. Every alien race would have to beg for human help. The proud civilizations that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years would become dependent on human charity. And if we reject these terms, Zarks asked, Admiral Cooper answered, then you can return to your dying worlds and figure out how to survive without us. We'll watch from Earth as your civilizations collapse. When the last alien city falls silent, we'll expand into the galaxy and build something better. Dr. Foster leaned over to the president. Sir, our sensors are detecting human ships throughout the galaxy. The secret bases we've been building for 2 years are coming online, the president smiled. Earth's withdrawal had never been complete. While the aliens thought humans had all gone home, secret teams had been building hidden bases on uninhabited worlds. These bases contained advanced technology and defensive systems. If the aliens chose war, they would find human forces already positioned throughout their territory. Admiral Zorks, the president announced, you should know that Earth has been preparing for this moment for 2 years. We have assets positioned throughout the galaxy. If your fleet attacks us, those assets will become active. Every major alien world will find human ships in their skies within hours. Zorks' scales had faded to a dull gray. He was trapped. Fight. And the aliens would face an enemy they couldn't defeat. Surrender, and they would become beggars dependent on human goodwill. We accept your terms, Zork said finally. Excellent, the president replied. Your fleet will now leave Sol System. Individual races that wish to request trade relationships may send single ships to our outer boundary. We'll consider each request carefully. As the alien fleet slowly turned away from Earth, Admiral Cooper addressed his own ships. All vessels maintain positions until the aliens are out of sensor range. This is a historic day. The galaxy came to force us back into slavery. Instead, they learned that Earth is now the dominant power among the stars. The human ships watched as 5,000 alien vessels limped away from Sol System. Many of those ships would never make it home. Without human maintenance, alien technology was failing across the galaxy. On Earth, people gathered in cities and towns to celebrate. They had faced the combined might of the galaxy and won without firing a shot. The age of human servitude was truly over. The age of human dominance had begun. President Rodriguez addressed the world that evening. Today we prove that respect cannot be demanded, it must be earned. For 30 years we earned that respect through our service.